This is a free audiobook. You can download the free ebook version by scanning the QR code on the screen, and you can buy the physical copy of the book on Amazon. Discovering SPX6900, the world's first pure belief asset, the rise of a token built on conviction, culture, and community. A pure belief asset revolution. Copyright notice. Copyright 2025 Audacious. All rights reserved. No part of this publication may be reproduced, distributed, or transmitted in any form or by any means, including photocopying, recording, or other electronic or mechanical methods, without the prior written permission of the author, except in the case of brief quotations embodied in critical reviews and certain other non-commercial uses permitted by copyright law. First edition, July 2025. Disclaimer: this audiobook is for informational and educational purposes only. The content within reflects the views, interpretations, and research of the author and is not intended as financial, investment, or legal advice. Cryptocurrency and digital asset investments carry significant risk and may result in the loss of your entire capital. Always do your own research, DYOR, and consult with a licensed financial advisor or professional before making any investment decisions. While this book explores the philosophy, tokenomics, and community surrounding SPX6900, it does not constitute a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any digital asset. The author is not liable for any decisions listeners make based on the information presented herein. By listening to this audiobook, you acknowledge and accept that the author is not responsible for any losses or decisions you make based on the material presented, and that the cryptocurrency space is volatile, speculative, and inherently risky. Invest wisely. Believe responsibly. Forward, we are trying to help you. From the author writing this book to the individual who shared it with you, we are all simply trying to help you. We genuinely believe that SPX6900 can improve the quality of your life. That's why we share it with anyone willing to listen. It starts with Bitcoin. You may be new to cryptocurrency and know very little about it, but you've probably still heard of Bitcoin. It's hard not to have heard of Bitcoin after its meteoric rise from mere cents in 2009 to nearly $112,000 in May 2025. The first crypto. Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency created by an anonymous developer known as Satoshi Nakamoto. He designed Bitcoin as an alternative, decentralized payment system and currency, one that central banks could not control or manipulate. It was a way for people to send direct, peer-to-peer payments over the Bitcoin network using Bitcoin, BTC, as the currency, without any third party, i.e. bank, involved in the transaction. Satoshi Nakamoto was the first to solve the double spending problem, i.e. preventing the same Bitcoin from being spent more than once, in a trustless, decentralized manner. This made it possible for people to transact using BTC without needing a third party to finalize the transaction on the ledger. Evolution of Bitcoin. Bitcoin began as a vision of digital cash, free from government and banking control, that people could use and spend as an alternative to fiat currency. This is why we have the infamous Bitcoin pizza story from its early days. Over time, Bitcoin evolved into digital gold, a store of value, a hedge against inflation, and a portfolio diversification asset. Today, it's gaining increased interest from institutions, hedge funds, and even nation-states. Its journey from radical financial liberation to a mainstream store of value asset has only been possible because of the culture, conviction, and community that supported and stood by it with unwavering loyalty. If no one had seen value in Satoshi's creation, Bitcoin would be worthless today. But an early and growing community bought into the vision of a decentralized payment system and currency, which ultimately evolved into a globally recognized store of value, still attracting new believers to this day. Bitcoin, with its fixed supply of 21 million coins, or fewer due to people losing their tokens, grew from nothing to over $1 trillion market cap since its inception in 2009, all because of the people. So, why invest in crypto? The short and simple answer: because it has captured the attention of the people, and that attention is only growing stronger. Some invest in crypto because they love the technology. Others do it to change their financial situation and be part of a community of like-minded individuals with a shared purpose. Whatever your reason, the crypto market is only expanding, gaining strength, attracting more attention, and could drastically change your life if you align with the right community at the right time. I believe SPX 6900 is a second chance at a Bitcoin-like opportunity, as we'll soon discover why. Crypto is an asset class that ordinary, hardworking people in 9-to-5 jobs can use to drastically change their lives. Yes, there is a small learning curve, but the time spent learning to invest in crypto is worth it. Personally, I believe the best way to learn is by doing. That's how I learned about crypto when I was starting out. I just took action. Remember, if you don't start taking action in some way to improve or better your life, 5 or 10 years from now, you'll likely be in the same position, or worse, with the rise of AI and the ongoing monetary inflation and currency debasement. People need to earn more than the monetary inflation rate to avoid losing purchasing power. And the right cryptocurrency is an asset that can drastically outpace inflation, preserve your purchasing power, and change your life. Taking small steps today by getting involved in a growing crypto space could drastically change your life 5 to 10 years from now, simply by doing what most people don't, taking a calculated risk. What is SPX 6900? So you're new to crypto and have just discovered or heard about SPX 6900, SPX, and you're probably wondering, what is SPX 6900 all about? It is a pure belief asset. SPX 6900 represents many different things to many people, but at its core, it's best described as a pure belief asset, PBA. It's a token backed by nothing but the high conviction and unwavering belief of its holders. It represents a revolution, a movement, a tribe, a culture, a philosophy, and a bold, ambitious mission to flip the stock market, specifically the S&P 500. This means our mission is for SPX 6900 to become more valuable than the S&P 500's approximate current market capitalization of $52.4 trillion by reaching a $69 trillion market cap. SPX 6900 is a growing community of individuals united by a shared purpose and a common vision. To flip the stock market through the power of mass collective, pure belief. It is tokenized hope. It is tokenized financial hope for thousands of disillusioned people who are dissatisfied with our monetary system, the 9-to-5 modern-day slavery, wealth inequality, corporate traditional finance, TradFi, the rise of AI as a threat to productivity and opportunities in the workforce, and the gimmicks, rug pulls, and utility narratives within the crypto space. SPX 6900 is unique among the tens of thousands of cryptocurrencies on the market and has the potential to reach trillions in market cap one day. Through community, belief, and long-term conviction, people can achieve life-changing outcomes. A second Bitcoin opportunity. It shares many cultural and philosophical similarities with early Bitcoin, yet at the same time, it is very different. For those who missed early Bitcoin, this is a second chance to be part of a bottom-up, organically growing community with a strong philosophical culture and a mission larger than oneself, to flip the stock market. From a financial perspective, buying into SPX 6900 today, as of the 8th of July 2025, is like having the rare opportunity to buy into Bitcoin again, at $62.77. Bitcoin was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for those brave enough to believe in something innovative and novel. SPX 6900 is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for everyone who missed Bitcoin, for the younger financially struggling generation, and for those seeking hope. If they are bold enough to embrace a new culture founded on pure belief, it is human connection and belonging. We live in a digital world where people are forming connections and finding a sense of belonging in online communities more than in real life. SPX 6900 is a tokenized form of human connection and belonging. It's a community of people who share the same goal and vision, finding belonging and forming meaningful connections with one another. In today's world, it's often difficult to find people who truly care about financial freedom, escaping the 9-to-5 matrix slavery system, or who are concerned about the future with the rise of AI and the debasement of our currency, and are driven to proactively take risks to improve their lives. But online, You can discover communities like SPX6900, where you feel a true sense of belonging, because it's a tribe of people with a vision you resonate with, to flip this corrupt system and win together. Do not underestimate the value of tokenized human belonging, connection, and hope, especially as we move further into a potentially dystopian future. Now more than ever, we need a community of like-minded individuals to belong to in order to escape it and win together. Why is SPX6900 different? The crypto market today is saturated with tokens ever since the inception of Bitcoin in 2009. Thousands of tokens are now launched daily due to how easy it has become to create a crypto project. Most of these tokens will fail miserably for various reasons. So what makes SPX6900 different from the rest, you might be wondering? Community quality. The answer lies in the quality of the SPX6900 community, its philosophy and culture. The closest comparison to the SPX6900 community is, quite literally, the early Bitcoin community. The Bitcoin community emerged from a deep-rooted anti-establishment sentiment. They were hardcore in their belief that the only crypto worth buying, holding, and stacking was Bitcoin. They considered everything else to be rubbish. They saw Bitcoin as sound, hard money, i.e., a limited cap supply, digital gold, that couldn't be manipulated or inflated by central banks. This philosophy was preserved and maintained over the years, attracting more people to the cause. As a result, Bitcoin grew from nothing to over $1 trillion in market cap. Mirroring early Bitcoin. The SPX6900 community mirrors Bitcoin's early community in many ways. SPX6900 holds a strong anti-TradFi sentiment, with a clear mission to flip the S&P 500. The community embraces a core philosophy that strongly discourages trading, instead promoting high conviction and unwavering belief. And SPX6900 Aeon, the name for a true believer in SPX, sees SPX as superior to everything else in the market because of its values, its unique culture, and the exceptional quality of its community, all of whom are united in the mission to flip the stock market. And just as Bitcoin rose from nothing to over $1 trillion in market cap through the power of a loyal community, we believe the SPX6900 community can potentially do the same and flip the stock market in the process. A revolutionary mission. Believing in something with no purpose is difficult, but believing in something with a powerful mission and goal is much easier. In the case of SPX6900, its mission is profound. Flipping the stock market is no easy feat. It's a David versus Goliath challenge, revolutionary in nature. But it's also fun, exciting, attention-grabbing, goal-oriented, and mission-focused. Let's not forget that Bitcoin also started with a revolutionary mission against fiat currency and traditional banking systems. SPX6900 carries the same sentiment, but its opposition is traditional finance, TradFi, or more broadly, late-stage capitalism. The core utility of a token being a high-conviction community on a real-world mission is rare in the cryptocurrency space. Most crypto tokens don't even have real communities, let alone a shared purpose or movement that unites everyone. If you compare SPX6900 with the top 10 meme tokens, it is literally the only one with a mission and purpose. None of the others in the top 10 have one. The term pure belief asset is relatively new for this type of asset class. Although SPX6900 is listed as a meme coin, this categorization is increasingly a misnomer, as it downplays the significance of what SPX6900 seeks to achieve. It is far superior in culture, purpose, and meaning compared to typical meme coins. Nonetheless, our enemy is TradFi, and our goal is to flip it. The value proposition of SPX6900. The value proposition of any crypto, once you peel back all the narratives surrounding it, is really just the community that believes in it. Investing in people. We, the people, ultimately give a crypto its value for one reason or another by choosing to buy and hold it. We give the crypto its demand with our collective buying power. Take Bitcoin, for example. It was the first of its kind, an organically growing community that, to this day, continues to buy into its ideals and philosophy of being a superior form of money and decentralized network, compared to fiat and centralized banking. This strong community is ultimately what gives Bitcoin its value and drives its price appreciation. When you understand that crypto is ultimately about investing in people, you need to ask yourself, which crypto are people naturally being drawn to? Which crypto is retaining people and encouraging them to stick with it? Which crypto is making people feel passionate, motivated, and inspired? Which crypto is acting as a magnet for people's hard-earned money? Which crypto is growing in loyal holders? Which crypto is causing people to produce creative quality writing, art, videos, and memes to promote it? How is this crypto doing all of the above? That's the crypto you need to pay attention to, because a lot of other people are paying close attention to it and investing in it. SPX6900 is a perfect example of such a cryptocurrency. Investing in utility speculation. Many other cryptos are built around utility and use case narratives that attract people to buy in and speculate. Their communities speculate on the token's utility and use case becoming real and gaining mass adoption, thus giving the token value. Even with utility tokens, you are still investing in people. You are investing in people continuing to speculate on the idea of utility. Most of these utility tokens are merely concepts, ideas, and theories that people speculate on, with no real-world use case or mass institutional adoption. So it is still ultimately people giving these utility narratives value through speculation, in the hope that real-world mass utility will one day materialize. Investing in community culture. And then there are tokens that have no utility narratives or use cases, like Memecoins. The community buys into it for reasons rooted in the appeal of the community itself. In the case of SPX6900, a pure belief asset, it is the culture that the community embodies that attracts and keeps people sticking to it. The importance of the SPX6900 culture. The SPX6900 culture is vital to the success of the token, just as utility is vital to the success of utility tokens. A major point of failure for utility tokens is when the utility aspect fails to materialize or gain adoption. When this happens, the community often abandons the token, and its price collapses along with it. This is because people who invest in utility-based crypto have no real loyalty to the community or token beyond the utility narrative becoming a reality. Similarly, if the SPX6900 culture is lost and not safeguarded and preserved by the community, there is a high risk of the community deteriorating, losing the very appeal that draws others to become part of it. This is why, when you join the SPX6900 movement, respecting and upholding our culture is absolutely essential for the growth and success of the community. Take Bitcoin, for example. It wouldn't have been able to grow from nothing to $1 trillion market cap over the years if the Bitcoin community hadn't maintained and preserved its culture. The philosophy of Bitcoin maximalism encouraged everyone to believe that Bitcoin is superior to everything else, to keep stacking it, hodling it, and taking full control and ownership over it. This preservation of culture by the community not only attracted people to Bitcoin, but also gave them the conviction to stick with it. And if SPX6900 is to reach trillions in market cap and one day flip the stock market, it will only be able to achieve this through a strong community that upholds and preserves the SPX6900 culture through the bull and bear markets. The success of SPX6900 ultimately depends on the community, and the success of the community depends on its ability to embrace, embody, and preserve the SPX6900 culture and philosophy. Without this culture, there would be no strong, high-quality community forming behind SPX, which would make the token no different from the majority of other tokens in the crypto space. Short-lived pump and dump rug pulls that will never flourish into anything special or great. One of the great features of SPX6900 is that it doesn't have a utility point of failure. That's one concern the community doesn't have to worry about. Our only real risk is self-degradation, failing to maintain our culture and philosophy. If we persist forever in upholding our culture, then we have no real point of failure. Our message is sound, our movement is attractive, and we can continue growing one holder at a time until we achieve our mission to flip the stock market. However, we should strive to protect our culture, especially as we grow, in order to survive long-term, endure across multiple cycles, and successfully flip the stock market. What is the SPX 6900 culture? Stop trading and believe in something. This encourages the community to adopt a long-term high-conviction, diamond hand, i.e., not selling, dollar-cost averaging, DCA mindset when buying SPX 6900, rather than the short-term mentality of traders who seek quick profits without any belief in the community. There is no chart. Our culture strongly discourages posting charts and the distractions that come with them. That's a short-term trader's game. SPX 6900 is a long-term, high-conviction play. That's why we say price is binary. Have we flipped the stock market or not? If not, then we still have work to do. Not obsessing over charts also frees up valuable time for more important things, like creatively promoting SPX 6900 and enjoying meaningful connections with other Aeons while building long-term relationships. The only enemy is TradFi. This reflects our rebellious, anti-system, anti-corporation sentiment, opposing everything the traditional financial system represents. It's very similar to early Bitcoin in its anti-bank ideology. Our mission is, after all, to flip the stock market. Persist forever. This resilient mindset of never giving up, resisting the unfairness of the system, enduring the challenges of our mission, and outlasting everything no matter how long it takes, is the heartbeat and soul of our community. How would we ever be able to achieve our ambitious goal of flipping the stock market one day and reaching trillions, if not by persisting forever? No lewd posting. We simply don't allow that in our community. We keep it clean. Peaceful life over greed. This is what happens when you stop chasing charts, candles, and price movements. That mindset leads only to stress, driven by greed and the urge to time the market. A peaceful life is lived by DCAing into SPX 6900 with a long-term high-conviction mindset, without chart watching. It is far more peaceful and rewarding to focus on time in the market rather than trying to time the market. Simply DCA and touch grass. PvE only, no PvP. Player versus player, PvP behavior has corrupted much of crypto. It's toxic, selfish, and prevents strong communities from forming. SPX 6900 is strictly a player versus environment, PvE community. We are not against each other. We are united against the TradFi system. We consistently work together to grow and build a strong community capable of flipping the stock market one day. Promote positivity. Our community lives by the motto of defeating haters, skeptics, and critics with love, not by reciprocating their negativity. We wish others success. We tell people we love them, and we genuinely try to help others by sharing SPX 6900 with them. Infiltrate everything. The SPX 6900 community is one of the hardest working in the crypto space, unlike anything I've ever seen in all my years in crypto. We're talking about people bull posting daily on social media platforms, creating TikTok content, YouTube videos, and Instagram reels, starting podcasts, going out into the streets of their towns and cities to share SPX 6900 with others, and even producing comics, books, ebooks, merchandise, websites, and more. We are truly committed to spreading the message and mission of SPX 6900 by reaching as many people as possible. We're infiltrating everything, all the principles combined. When you take all the positive principles of the SPX 6900 culture and combine them, it truly creates a unique and special community within the cryptocurrency space. Some communities may possess high conviction and a no-trading mindset, but you may find they are also very toxic, negative, and exhibit cutthroat behavior. Other communities may appear positive at first, but you soon realize they're just PvPing each other. As soon as there's any sign of price appreciation, they rush to dump on one another, preventing any real trust or loyalty from being formed within the community. This is why SPX 6900 is a special kind of community, different, and its culture should be upheld and respected. A pure belief asset like SPX 6900 requires a culture that protects the community and its belief system in order for it to thrive and be successful. And that's exactly what it has. Outsiders notice this, and they're drawn to our passion, conviction, philosophy, and mission. They want to be part of our community, but what makes them stay and build their own individual conviction is the culture. The reality of the crypto space. The crypto space has evolved significantly over the years since the inception of Bitcoin. A newcomer joining today would be bombarded with so many different communities pitching their tokens that it can become extremely overwhelming to know where to start and what to start with. I'd like to warn you that the vast majority of tokens in the crypto space are dead ends. They have no real future and will likely disappear into oblivion for one reason or another. You really don't want to waste your time or money committing to these dead-end crypto tokens, as it will likely leave you with a sour taste in your mouth when the community dies off and the price collapses, causing you to lose all your money. Be careful, invest wisely, and do your due diligence. On the bright side, if you invest in the right token and community at the right time, it could drastically change your financial life. Life-changing money, generational wealth, or simply financial freedom and early retirement opportunities. I would break down the crypto space into two categories: Bitcoin and altcoins. Altcoins are all cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin, such as utility tokens, meme coins, and pure belief assets. Bitcoin, BTC. Bitcoin is the king of all cryptocurrencies. It has the strongest community and, as of 8th July 2025, is trading at $109,037 with a market cap of around $2.1 trillion. Because of how high BTC is in both market cap and price, it's no longer ideal for the average person who invests in, with the expectation of making a huge return on investment, ROI, in a relatively short time frame. Unless you're already wealthy and can invest a large amount into BTC. For most everyday people, using BTC as a long-term savings or retirement fund is the best strategy today. This involves dollar-cost averaging, DCA, into Bitcoin over time with a decades-long vision. Bitcoin is a safe option over a long-term time frame, but it's not the best crypto if you're looking for higher returns from a smaller amount of capital in a much shorter period. Utility tokens. Cryptocurrencies outside of Bitcoin that pitch a use case or utility function are considered utility tokens. The space is saturated with utility tokens, ranging from payments, gaming, and AI data processing to tokenization, layer 1s, layer 2s, interoperability, metaverse, DEX tokens, and more. There is a utility narrative everywhere. Utility tokens are mostly speculative investments. A large portion of their supply is typically held by the team, who often sell to retail investors to fund the project. In many cases, the team and the utility narrative become the main point of failure for these tokens. The teams are often incompetent, fail to deliver on their promises, don't build a product, or build a poor product that never gains real usage. The value of these tokens, for the most part, comes from a growing community speculating on how high the price could go if the token is ever actually used. This is why utility tokens often experience price pumps following news of partnerships or exchange listings, driven by hype and speculation. However, most of these partnerships are superficial and do not result in real adoption of the technology or utility of the product, if it even exists. Utility token communities are usually fragile, with loyalty tied mainly to the belief that the promised utility will eventually materialize. If it doesn't, or takes too long, the community can quickly lose interest, sell their tokens, and move on. Ultimately, with utility tokens, the community's loyalty depends on whether the project delivers its promised use case or utility narrative, which often it does not necessarily on the people, culture, or philosophy behind the token. In the case where the team does deliver on utility, the value of the utility tokens is anchored to their actual utility, which only acts as a restriction on price growth. On the other hand, a pure belief asset like SPX6900 has a high price ceiling, making the opportunity as big as our collective belief, with no utility influence limiting its potential. Meme coins. Through various launchpads, anyone can now create a meme coin without any technical knowledge. Meme coins are tokens usually created for fun, as a joke or satire, with no serious use case, narrative, or purpose. The value of meme coins is mostly community-driven, with people investing in them because they appeal to them, often hoping to make quick flips and profits due to their high volatility. This is why the majority of meme coins are pump and dump schemes in short-lived PvP hype cycles. Low-cap meme coins are extremely high risk, and many of them are rug pulls, where the creator dumps their supply on the community, crashes the price, and disappears. However, from the chaos of low-cap meme coins, resilient communities can occasionally emerge, surviving multiple setbacks and price crashes to gradually grow into large communities and evolve from their meme joke origins into something more meaningful and impactful. A good example is SPX6900, which evolved from a typical meme coin origin into a pure belief asset revolution, with a powerful mission and movement that people are rallying behind. Pure belief assets. A pure belief asset is a type of crypto whose value and growth are driven entirely by the collective shared belief, conviction, loyalty, work ethic, passion, trust, and culture of its community. The value is derived from pure collective consensus, belief, and perception, rather than any intrinsic utility, technology, cash flows, practical use, or financial backing from institutions. A close example would be early Bitcoin. Even though it was a new technology, the masses and the traditional financial system did not pay much attention to it until years later. After the early community, through pure belief, established Bitcoin to a point where it became obvious that it was here to stay and wasn't going anywhere, despite being declared dead by critics hundreds of times. Meanwhile, Bitcoin has only continued to increase in value, fueled massively by belief from the start. SPX6900 is what I consider the first pure belief asset in crypto due to its key traits. 1. Its value comes from the community's unshakable belief and shared conviction in the ideology, philosophy, culture, mission, and movement, which people resonate with and see as a source of financial hope and opportunity. 2. The entire culture and philosophical mantra of SPX6900 is centered around belief. Belief is its marketing and its unique core selling point. No other crypto has ever positioned its core value proposition around the concept of pure belief. 3. It doesn't require a traditional utility use case to grow in value, because the culture, community, belief, and pure conviction become the utility through the perception of the people. 4. Price appreciation stems from a strong community culture that promotes pure collective belief, diamond handing, long-term holding, and consistent DCA, creating an environment that drives long-term SPX demand and scarcity. Be aware that not every token claiming to be a pure belief asset truly is one. The term may become a marketing tool used to attract people to certain communities, but in the case of SPX6900, the data from the Diamond Hand leaderboard, for example, and the observable community culture show that we are not simply using the term pure belief asset for lip service. We are genuinely living by the characteristics that define one, distinguishing SPX6900 from a mere meme coin. If you study the community, you'll see that we deeply respect our culture, without which the token would collapse. We don't trade, we don't chart watch, we don't PvP. Instead, we DCA, diamond hand, and work hard to help others by sharing our culture and mission, one that is greater than ourselves, to flip the stock market. We prefer a PvE, peaceful life over greed. Why choose SPX6900? Once the reality of the crypto space today is understood, it becomes very clear that SPX6900 is unique in a space flooded with utility narratives that have a high chance of failure and short-lived meme coins. As a pure belief asset, SPX6900 stands out with everything it has to offer. People can replicate white papers, replicate technology, replicate utility token narratives, and replicate meme coins. However, you cannot replicate community belief and the intangible but powerful culture that the SPX6900 community upholds. The feelings of belonging, purpose, and financial hope that motivate us within the SPX6900 community cannot be duplicated. You cannot copy and paste community conviction and loyalty. They have to be built and earned, just as they have been with SPX6900. This is why newcomers starting out in crypto today, given the current landscape, should focus on studying SPX6900. SPX6900 Tokenomics. The ticker is SPX. The total supply is 1 billion tokens. The circulating supply is 930,993,091 tokens. 6.9% of the supply has been burned. SPX is an ERC20 token, but also bridged to other networks like Solana, Base, and SUI. The price of any cryptocurrency is ultimately dependent on supply and demand factors. We've already covered the demand for SPX6900, which ultimately comes from the community and its growth. Now let's look at the other side of the equation. Supply. SPX6900 supply. The supply of SPX6900 is fixed. There is no inflation and no newly minted tokens coming into existence. The total supply is capped at 930,993,091 SPX tokens. A fixed supply is always attractive because it introduces scarcity. As the community grows and more people consistently DCA, diamond hand, and refuse to sell their SPX tokens, that gradually reduces the circulating supply, leaving growing demand to fight over fewer available tokens. This phenomenon mirrors Bitcoin, whose supply is capped at 21 million tokens. As demand increased and its hodling culture took hold, more and more people were trying to buy from a shrinking pool of tokens. This inevitably drove up the asset's price. High demand against low supply leads to price appreciation. Finite supply, growing demand, and diamond hands. In the case of SPX6900, we have a fixed, finite supply and a steadily growing high-conviction culture that strongly discourages trading. This is a powerful recipe for long-term price appreciation. The diamond hand culture of stop trading and believe in something isn't just a slogan within SPX6900. The community backs it up with real action. The Diamond Supply Leaderboard, as of 23 June 2025, ranks the top cryptocurrencies based on the USD value of supply that is diamond held, meaning tokens held by addresses that haven't sold in over 90 days. At the #1 spot is SPX6900. Total diamond held value, 652.56 million. Percentage of supply. Diamond held 76.8%. This means that, as of the 23rd of June 2025, 76.8% of the supply, with a market value of 652.56 million, is held by long-term holders who haven't sold a single SPX token in over 90 days. This data clearly shows that the SPX6900 culture is being embraced by the majority of the community. It reflects extremely strong conviction, stronger than any other community on the leaderboard. Being ranked #1 shows that SPX6900 has the strongest holder base out of all those communities, both in terms of value and percentage of supply held. This metric is a powerful signal of community strength, long-term conviction, resilience to market volatility, and the effectiveness of our culture and pure belief in SPX6900. It is extremely bullish. SPX6900 isn't like anything else on the market. The community is deeply committed, loyal, passionate, hardworking, and diamond-handed, embodying massive belief and a unique cultural movement built around this pure belief asset, SPX6900. What is SPX6900's moat? The term moat originates from a castle moat, a deep, wide ditch filled with water surrounding a castle to protect it from attacks. In the case of SPX6900, its moat refers to the factors that protect it from competitors and help it thrive long-term, i.e., what makes it hard to copy or compete with. Since there are thousands of cryptocurrencies all competing for your attention, and you want to find the winning one, it's imperative that you can identify its moat. You need to be able to recognize its competitive edge, what differentiates it in a crowded market, what makes it unique in a way that others can't easily replicate. Without a moat, there's no real long-term success for the token. Before we examine SPX6900's moat, let's first take a look at Bitcoin's, since it is the most successful cryptocurrency to date and shares many similarities with SPX6900. Bitcoin did have first-mover advantage, but its technology is not its moat. Many other cryptocurrencies have been released since, with far superior technical capabilities, yet none have surpassed Bitcoin in value. Bitcoin's moat lies in the fact that it was launched with an ideal narrative and philosophy during a time when people were yearning for an alternative to centralized banks and fiat currency manipulation. The growing post-2008 distrust of banks, governments, and monetary policy created the perfect environment for a trustless, decentralized, deflationary hard currency asset like Bitcoin. A community of believers emerged, people who bought into Bitcoin's ideology. A culture and philosophy formed around it, acting as the castle wall that protected and preserved it as the community grew. Most people didn't flock to Bitcoin because of its tech, but because of the narrative, an asset that couldn't be manipulated. The culture built conviction, turning early adopters into die-hard believers who stacked Bitcoin and refused to sell, creating scarcity and long-term price appreciation, which in turn attracted even more conviction. When you peel everything back, Bitcoin's moat stems from a purely social psychological mass belief system, coordinated, aligned conviction held by its community. Moats that are based on technology can easily be leapfrogged by superior tech. However, you can't simply build a mass network of belief and culture. This happens naturally and organically. In Bitcoin's case, having first-mover advantage and launching at the right time helped immensely. Nonetheless, although difficult to replicate, it isn't impossible. SPX6900 has naturally and organically harnessed a similar dynamic of growing mass belief. It has also emerged at a time when people are yearning for something to believe in, something to restore hope. Bitcoin is currently far too high in value to attract the average person seeking psychologically life-changing wealth creation. Meanwhile, the socio-economic environment continues to deteriorate. The wealth gap is widening, and distrust in governments and their monetary policy is at an all-time high. The younger generation is struggling. Personal debt is skyrocketing. We are literally working harder and longer for less. The idea of depending on universal basic income is becoming more of a reality for many. The point is, we are searching for a solution. We want something to believe in. Then emerges SPX6900, with a mission to flip the stock market and oppose late-stage capitalism, accompanied by a powerful rallying cry to believe in something greater. And surrounding it is a cultural and philosophical castle wall built to protect it. SPX6900 has organically cloned a similar social psychological mass belief system of coordinated human conviction, just as Bitcoin once did. SPX6900's moat consists of 1. A pure belief-driven culture. 2. A strong, loyal community. 3. A unique and unified community-driven philosophy. 4. A simple and relatable mission and movement that sets it apart from most coins. 5. Cultural resilience against market cycles. 6. Cultural stickiness. No one is coming to save us. We are living through one of the most pivotal transitions in human history. The world is changing rapidly, and for many it's not for the better. The systems that once promised stability, opportunity, and fairness are now fraying at the edges. The middle class is being hollowed out. The younger generation is drowning in debt, rising living costs, and shrinking opportunities. For most people, life is becoming harder, not easier. And the uncomfortable truth is, no one is coming to save us. The harsh reality of the world today. You can feel it. The cost of living keeps climbing, but your income doesn't. Rent goes up. Food prices soar. Essential services feel increasingly out of reach. Yet governments and institutions seem paralyzed, or worse, indifferently making promises they don't keep. Inflation silently erodes your savings. Jobs no longer offer security. Owning a home for the younger generation feels more like a dream fading into myth. Meanwhile, the wealth gap grows wider. A small elite accumulates more than entire populations combined. The middle class, the traditional backbone of society, is being crushed by inflation and debt. The younger generation, despite their university-level education, is becoming the poorest in modern history. And on the horizon, a new disruption is looming: artificial intelligence. The threat of AI and the vanishing job market. AI is transforming the world at lightning speed. While it promises innovation and convenience, it also threatens to displace millions of jobs, making universal basic income and complete government dependence an eventual reality. truck drivers, customer service reps, even creative professionals. No field is truly safe, and those at the top will benefit most, leveraging AI to increase profits while cutting costs, often at the expense of the average worker. You won't be able to outwork a machine. You won't outpace an algorithm. This isn't science fiction anymore. It's here, and unless you're prepared, it would leave you behind. Inflation, the silent thief. Most people don't realize this, but inflation is one of the greatest threats to your financial future. Every year, the money in your bank account becomes worth less, not because you're spending it, but because the monetary system is designed to dilute your purchasing power. The price of groceries, housing, healthcare, rent, education, and general living costs keeps climbing. But your savings purchasing power don't. If you're not actively finding a way to beat inflation, you are being robbed every day, slowly and silently. Let's be brutally honest. The system is not broken. It's working exactly as it was designed. It rewards those who already have capital, connections, and control. For everyone else, it's a treadmill going nowhere. You can work harder, but it doesn't mean you'll get ahead. And this is why now, more than ever, we need to take control of our financial futures. We cannot rely on governments, employers, or outdated financial advice to save us. The responsibility and the power for change is in our hands. The SPX6900 community is taking massive action. Now. In the midst of all this chaos and uncertainty, a new revolutionary path is emerging. SPX6900 to rewrite the rules of wealth for our own hands. We as a community understand that no one is coming to save us, so we have chosen to save ourselves and each other. Through DCA, diamond handing, and passionately spreading the message with purpose and conviction, we are creating a new kind of wealth, one based on pure belief, trust, and shared mission. This is your wake-up call. Take massive action, now. If you're struggling financially, if you're worried about your future, if you're tired of being at the mercy of government systems you can't control, it's time to act. It's time to study SPX6900, to understand the culture, to join the movement, even if just as a silent observer at first. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be a financial expert. You just need belief. And that belief, once cultivated, can become the foundation of something powerful in your life. This isn't about quick overnight riches. It's about long-term transformation. It's about aligning with a community with shared purpose and values that's focused, grounded, and mission-driven. If you don't take action now, nothing will have improved 5 years from now. Because no one is coming to save us. But if we work together, we can save ourselves. The future looks bright. I hope by now you have a better understanding of SPX6900, our community, the mission, the movement, and most importantly, our culture, the future we're building. The SPX6900 community is working to build a future where we all win together. As a community, we are constantly building and collaborating for each other's success. No single person can do it alone. Our passion, work ethic, and ability to persist forever as a collective are unmatched. Our primary long-term vision and goal is to flip the stock market, a symbol of late-stage capitalism. That is what ultimate success looks like. It just so happens that, in the process, billionaires, millionaires, and hundreds of thousands will be made by many ordinary people along the journey. This will be the reward for having a long-term vision, high conviction, diamond hands, and for consistently DCAing into the pure belief asset, SPX6900. We are still early. As of July 1st, 2025, the S&P 500 market capitalization is $52.208 trillion, while the SPX6900 market cap is around $1.2 billion. We are still just getting started. Our goal is to flip the stock market and reach a $69 trillion market cap. This would make each SPX token worth $74,000. Now, maybe the words delusional, crazy, ambitious, or never going to happen are running through your mind. But I would argue, don't miss the point. Never underestimate a growing delusional, crazy, ambitious, hardworking, diamond-handing, and persisting forever community on a mission. People who heard about Bitcoin early and dismissed it for the same reasons now look back and regret not believing, like the Bitcoin community did. and not buying some. Don't make the same mistake twice. History is simply repeating itself with another asset class, this time backed by pure belief and high conviction from a growing community of people who are fed up with the system, dissatisfied, disillusioned, and ready to take control and create change. Because no one is coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. And people are hearing the SPX6900 message and being pulled in because it resonates. For many, it has become the natural and obvious solution in this day and age, to be part of a community with a shared vision and a purpose larger than oneself, something to believe in that can drastically change our lives. The potential growth of SPX6900. When we reach 0.1% of the current 52.2 trillion S&P 500 market cap, each SPX token would be worth $56. 1% of the current 52.2 trillion S&P 500 market cap, each SPX token would be worth $560. 10% of the current 52.2 trillion S&P 500 market cap, each SPX token would be worth $5,606. I could keep going, but you get the picture. At each stage, the following number of tokens would make you a millionaire: 17,857 SPX, 1,785 SPX, and 178 SPX, respectively. The growth potential for SPX 6900 is multi-cycle, since the narrative and mission of flipping the stock market is a long-term, multi-cycle vision. The higher we go in market cap, flipping each S&P 500 company individually, the more attention the SPX 6900 community will get. And as long as we are able to maintain our culture to preserve our community, more people watching will begin to ask themselves, what if they actually do flip the stock market? I should get some, just in case. From there, they build their own conviction. Eventually, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, one holder at a time. A spark to trillions. As we, the community, continue to persist forever in preserving our culture and infiltrating everything, we will only keep getting stronger and continue to grow organically. However, all it really takes is a spark for a strong community to be catapulted into the stratosphere, to reach critical mass, and to continue snowballing in acceleration. The longer we persist, the greater the likelihood of that spark occurring, because we've remained relevant and increasingly harder to ignore. A spark could come from anything. 1. Influential people talking about us. 2. Mainstream media reporting on our delusional belief of flipping the stock market. 3. Greater acceptance by the masses. Whatever the spark may be, the result could launch us into the hundreds of billions, even trillions, especially in a risk-on environment of low interest rates and abundant liquidity looking for somewhere to park itself. How not to make it in crypto. It's very easy to fail in crypto, not because of crypto itself, but because of personal decisions and behavior. Even though SPX 6900 is showing clear signs of being a potential winner, it's still possible to know this and yet not make it in crypto because of self-sabotage. Let's take a look at some of the ways people fail in crypto. Chasing hype and FOMO. This behavior stems from a short-term gambling mindset. People who do this tend to chase trending tokens promoted by influencers, jumping into projects they don't understand, usually after a massive pump, thinking it will keep going. This isn't really investing. It's treating crypto like a lottery ticket in an attempt to get rich quick. These individuals often jump from one PvP community to another, hoping for a quick 100x without ever taking the time to truly understand the space. The majority of people lose money this way. This is why SPX 6900 promotes strong values from the start. Stop trading and believe in something. It's about rewiring bad habits and helping people stop losing money. Trusting influencers blindly. Most people who fall into the trap of chasing hype and pump and dump crypto tokens usually do so by blindly following an influencer shilling the token on social media. They often invest without doing any research or due diligence of their own, relying solely on the hype created by the influencer, hoping this time the outcome will be different. Many of these influencers promote tokens that have no real community or culture. They're simply using their large audience to pump the price so they can dump their early bought tokens on newcomers, crash the chart, and move on to do it all over again with another token. Blindly following influencers is one of the easiest ways to get wrecked in crypto. Investing in crypto with no community. Put simply, a crypto project with no community is a dead project. There are two common types. 1. A completely dead community. No engagement on socials, no interaction, no volume, just silence. 2. A seemingly active community with engagement, hype, volume, and even price action, but with a strong PvP, player versus player, environment. This kind of community is also doomed. It's just a matter of time. Both scenarios are red flags and will likely lead to losses. Avoid any crypto project that lacks a real community. Paper hands. Having paper hands is essentially the opposite of having diamond hands. You sell too early, not realizing that real growth often takes months or even years. If you've discovered the right community, you need patience and conviction. Expecting overnight success or becoming discouraged by short-term price drops is a recipe for failure. This short-term thinking and a lack of understanding about the power of long-term conviction will cause you to sell out of fear during dips or stagnant periods. Later, when the price skyrockets after you've paper-handed your position, regret will follow. Don't be that person. Believing in next Bitcoin promises. Many crypto projects lure people in by claiming to be the next Bitcoin or that they will replace BTC, using this as marketing hype. These claims are often as hollow as other buzzwords like AI or metaverse, which are frequently used to attract buyers to tokens with no real substance. You might be wondering, haven't I been comparing SPX6900 to Bitcoin? Yes, I have. The difference is that SPX6900 has real substance behind it: culture, philosophy, strong community, and mission. That's one reason why Bitcoiners also buy heavily into SPX6900. They recognize the cultural and community similarities. There are countless tokens that claim to be the next Bitcoin without anything to back it up. Then there's SPX6900 with substance. Chasing utility over culture. Many people in crypto firmly believe that every project must have utility to succeed and gain value. I used to be one of them. A utility maxi who ignored anything without a clear use case or utility narrative. Because I never understood the power of belief-driven communities, shared conviction, and cultural assets. That changed when I discovered SPX6900. Beware of low market cap tokens. Low market cap tokens are extremely high risk. Most of them remain stuck at low caps, fail to build loyal communities, and eventually go to zero. Don't assume a low market cap means high upside. Low market cap doesn't automatically mean undervalued. It can simply mean high risk and best avoided. It's much safer to join an already established community with strong conviction, one that has already endured the low cap phase and survived multiple drawdowns, than to gamble on unknown low caps in hopes of 1000x. Be cautious of diving into the slums and trenches of crypto looking for the next big thing. Most people get wrecked doing that too. Neglecting security. Crypto security is extremely important. One hack can wipe you out entirely. If you're serious about investing in crypto and building your position over time, a hardware wallet is worth its weight in gold for the peace of mind that comes with enhanced security. There are many hardware wallets on the market, but the one I've personally used for years is Ledger, and it's the one I recommend, the Ledger Nano S Plus or Ledger Nano X. Invest in one instead of keeping your crypto on an exchange or in a hot wallet on your phone. How to buy SPX6900? Understanding why to buy is vital before learning how to buy SPX6900. The how is easy, but it's the why that will determine whether you actually benefit from SPX or not. Not everyone who bought or discovered Bitcoin early actually benefited from its incredible price performance. Many discovered Bitcoin early and sold it simply because they didn't understand why they should have held on. Hopefully by now it's clear why you should hold your pure belief asset, SPX6900. So let's learn how to actually buy some. This chapter breaks it down step by step so anyone can get involved, no matter your level of experience. I strongly recommend that if you want the best security and protection for your crypto assets, that you invest in a Ledger Nano S Plus hardware wallet for cold storage. It is a much safer option compared to software hot wallets or centralized exchanges for long-term holding and large amounts of crypto, especially if security is your top priority. There are two primary ways to buy SPX 6900, depending on your experience level and platform preference. 1. Centralized Exchange, CEX. Route. This is the simplest method for beginners. It involves signing up on a centralized platform that supports SPX 6900, such as Kraken, and purchasing directly using your preferred currency. CEX platforms offer ease of use, customer support, and fiat on-ramps, making them ideal for those new to crypto. SPX 6900 is available on these CEXs: Kraken.com, Crypto.com, Uphold, and MoonPay. Second, decentralized exchange, DEX, route. This route is for those with some crypto experience. You'll use a non-custodial wallet, like Phantom, acquire some SOL or ETH, and then swap it for SPX 6900 on a DEX like Jupiter, Solana, or Uniswap, Ethereum. This method gives you full control over your assets. Both options ultimately get you to the same destination, becoming part of the SPX 6900 movement. The choice depends on how hands-on you want to be with your crypto journey. Option 1. Buying SPX 6900 via a centralized exchange, CEX. This is the beginner-friendly and straightforward method. 1. Register an account on a centralized exchange that lists SPX 6900, example Kraken. 2. Complete any required Know Your Customer, KYC, i.e. identity verification, if necessary. 3. Deposit fiat, USD, EUR, GBP, etc., or crypto like USDT into your exchange wallet. 4. In the trading section, search for the SPX 6900 pair against your currency, e.g. SPX/USD or SPX/EUR. 5. Choose how much to buy, set a market or limit order, and confirm the purchase. 6. It is recommended withdraw to a personal wallet, e.g. cold wallet. For added security and self-custody, withdraw your SPX 6900 to a personal cold wallet, like Ledger Nano S Plus wallet, for example. If withdrawing SPX via the Ethereum network to Ledger, use an Ethereum deposit address. If withdrawing SPX via the Solana network to Ledger, use a Solana deposit address. Important note: always double-check your wallet address and networks are correct before sending crypto. For option 2, buying SPX 6900 via a decentralized exchange, DEX, please refer to page 94 of the free ebook. Wallet security reminders: never share or lose your wallet seed phrase. Don't type the seed phrase on your phone or computer. Don't screenshot the seed phrase or store it digitally. If your seed phrase is compromised, no matter the wallet, your funds are at risk. Avoid DMs from impersonators requesting your seed phrase. Never type your Ledger hardware wallet seed phrase into anything but the physical device only. Only trust links from official SPX 6900 sources. Buying SPX 6900 is simple. If you're new to the process and need more help, ask the person who shared this book with you for guidance. I suggest starting with a small amount, like $10 or £10, to get familiar with the process of buying SPX if it's your first time. However, buying the token is just the first step. Building your own conviction so that it's not reliant on or dependent on someone else should be your next step. How to build your own conviction. Building conviction may take time. It took me about 5 months personally, from buying SPX to realizing that this is the community I need to focus on and invest heavily in, because it's special, unique, philosophical, and unlike anything I've seen in my 12 years in crypto. Hopefully, this book will help speed up your conviction process so it doesn't take that long. But to build your own conviction in SPX 6900, you need to study the community and see it for yourself. You need to join the movement, even if only as a silent observer. Observe, and you'll learn for yourself that this community is different. If crypto is ultimately about pockets of different communities, all trying to attract attention and retention, then you need to be in the strongest ones. Abandon the weak ones. Time is of the essence. Focus your attention, energy, and time on a strong, organically growing, diamond-handed, mission-focused, pure belief asset like SPX 6900 for maximum ROI potential. Your self-conviction will come from studying the community with your own eyes. Where to find the community? The SPX 6900 community lives online, So following other SPX 6900 community members is one of the best ways to get involved. Create an X account for SPX 6900. Add the magnet and chart symbol to your name. You can find the symbol on flipthestockmarket.com. Then start following these Aeon accounts found on Appendix A, page 132 of the ebook. Then simply observe the community and engage. Gradually, you would start building your own conviction the more time you spend within the community and learn about SPX 6900. You can also do the same thing by creating a TikTok account and following these Aeon accounts found on Appendix B, page 133 of the ebook. The SPX 6900 community also exists on Reddit and Telegram too. Summary steps. 1. Join the online SPX 6900 communities. 2. Follow Aeons and engage with Aeons. 3. Learn the culture. 4th, practice the culture. 5. Start promoting SPX 6900. The power of collective long-term DCA into SPX 6900. One of the most fascinating aspects of the SPX 6900 community is its ability to take collective action without anyone being in charge. A good idea that could benefit our success might be suggested by an Aeon, and before you know it, Aeons within the community begin to implement and practice it. I have never seen this level of mass alignment, coordination, and collective action occur within a decentralized crypto community before. A few examples I've witnessed since becoming part of the community include 1. Aeons migrating to TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube to promote SPX 6900. 2. Aeons creating content that features their face, allowing the audience to connect more deeply with them and the message. 3. A tipping culture where Aeons encourage others to include their SPX address in their social bios so the community can reward each other for their efforts in promoting the project. Last but not least, a daily DCA into SPX 6900, even if it means buying just one token a day collectively. In this chapter, I want to specifically focus on the benefits of long-term DCA into SPX 6900 by the community. Smooths out volatility. When we consistently buy SPX 6900 at regular intervals regardless of price, as a long-term strategy, it removes emotional decision-making from the community. Rather than trying to time the bottom during dips and rallies, averaging your cost over time and staying consistent makes volatile periods easier to endure. Because your strategy doesn't change, volatility no longer becomes a threat but an advantage, allowing you to secure more tokens without needing to go all in or panic. No matter when you join the movement, all you need to do is follow your DCA schedule. This is psychologically easier than market timing or lump sum investing. Builds compounding conviction. When you see the community regularly committing to DCA into SPX 6900 on a large scale, it becomes a powerful display of strength, conviction, and commitment. This consistent action builds collective trust in the vision and deepens community conviction over time. Even to outsiders, this strategy sends a clear message. SPX 6900 is backed by a community with real belief. In crypto, a community that continues to show strength is hard to ignore, because deep down, you know it's a winning one. Creates sustainable price floors. Collective DCA by the community creates constant, regular daily buy pressure. As this pressure grows, it acts like a safety net under the price, helping sustain floors during dips or crashes triggered by short-term traders and sellers. This collective DCA strategy also contributes to long-term price appreciation. The price of SPX 6900 is influenced by basic supply and demand dynamics. Sustained, consistent DCA from Aeons, who diamond hand the token, leads to higher lows and eventual price climbs. We don't have a chart, fortunately, so I can't show you, but a good reference for what this looks like is Bitcoin's chart zoomed out. Even during bear markets, this strategy strengthens the token supply dynamics and keeps buy pressure alive. Grows token supply decentralization. DCA is a powerful way to gradually redistribute the token supply from short-term sellers to committed individuals. It also gives newcomers the opportunity to join the movement without fear of missing out, FOMO, allowing them to accumulate over time instead of buying in heavily at higher prices. Strengthens the culture. Collective DCA is huge for community culture. It demonstrates to observers that we are a disciplined, patient, anti-hype, long-term minded community with high conviction in our mission. It shows that we are long-term holders, not pump and dump speculators. It's a living example of our PvE nature. We care more about the longevity of the mission in accumulating tokens than about day-to-day price movements. This type of cultural strength is attractive to outsiders, especially when they see us sharing daily DCA progress and savings goals. It creates social momentum, making others want to join the strongest community. Because in crypto, real wealth is built by investing in the strongest community. That community is SPX6900. Final words. In the words of Satoshi Nakamoto, back when Bitcoin had no real community or market value and was only 8 days old, it might make sense just to get some in case it catches on. Satoshi Nakamoto. This is my advice to you with SPX6900. The only difference is, we already have a growing community, around $1 billion in market cap, around $1 in price, but we haven't flipped the stock market yet. So, it might make sense just to get some, in case our mission catches on. Persist forever, Aeons. Please refer to the book between pages 130 to 148 for the following further resources. Appendix A, follow these Aeons on X. Appendix B, follow these Aeons on TikTok. Appendix C, SPX 1000 Goal Tracker. Appendix D, SPX 10,000 Goal Tracker. Appendix E, Cryptocurrencies Growth Charts. Appendix F, Fire Quotes from Aeons. Appendix G, Understanding Crypto Bull Cycles. Appendix H, SPX 6900 Newcomers Checklist. Frequently asked questions. 1. Where can I learn more or ask questions? Speak to the person who shared this audiobook with you. Create an X account and start following the Aeons recommended in Appendix A, page 132 of the ebook. Reach out to the community on X, Reddit, or Telegram with your questions. Go through the further resources section in the ebook and watch all the recommended videos. We are here to help you. You are not alone on this journey. 2. What is market cap? Market cap stands for market capitalization. It represents the total value of a cryptocurrency. It is calculated by multiplying the price of a crypto asset by the total number of coins in circulation. In crypto, market cap is typically used to rank tokens by their overall value. A lower priced token can still have a larger market cap than a higher priced token because market cap also depends on the total supply of coins. Don't assume that a token priced at 1 cent with 1 trillion coins in circulation is a better investment than a token priced at $1 with 1 billion coins just because of the price per coin. A low-priced token with a huge supply can still have a large market cap, so always check the market cap, not just the token price, to gauge realistic growth potential. Large-cap tokens have a market cap over $10 billion. Mid-cap tokens range between $1 to $10 billion, and small-cap tokens are under $1 billion. 3. What is a pump-and-dump rug pull? A pump-and-dump in crypto is when a group of people buy a cheap, low-volume token before hyping it up on socials to try to attract new buyers in order to artificially pump the price of a crypto. They then sell it all at the top, i.e., dump the tokens, on all the new buyers, making big profits, crashing the token price, and leaving everyone else stuck holding worthless tokens, losing their money. A rug pull is similar to a pump-and-dump scheme, but it is executed by the creators of a crypto project. They create a token and retain most of the supply, then hype it up. As people buy in and the price rises, the creators dump all their tokens on the market at once, crashing the price, making the tokens worthless, and disappearing with all the money. 4. What is late-stage capitalism? Late-stage capitalism is a term used to culturally critique what capitalism has become, hyper-focused on profit at the expense of people. This has led to negative consequences such as extreme wealth inequality, corporate dominance, worker exploitation, hyper-consumerism, and the commodification of everything. The economy has become purely profit-driven, while regular people suffer and feel left behind. Examples include CEOs earning hundreds of millions while their workers have no benefits, can't afford rent, need to work multiple jobs, and still struggle financially. 5. Is there a real purpose or utility behind SPX6900? The utility is the culture and community. Our purpose, goal, and mission are simple: to flip the stock market one holder at a time through collective conviction and belief. This is why SPX6900 is a pure belief asset. 6. Is this just another meme coin? No. It has evolved from its meme coin origins into something more meaningful and purposeful. SPX6900 is now being taken more seriously as a movement by more people every day. It has far outgrown the label of a meme coin into a pure belief asset thanks to the community that invests in it. 7. Who is behind SPX6900? The community. The dev left the project at the very beginning, and since then, it has been kept alive by the community. It is now a decentralized, community-driven movement with no single individual having the power to ruin or destroy the mission. There is no central point of failure with SPX6900. 8. How can I contribute to the movement? Every SPX6900 believer can contribute in some way. You don't need to be a developer or influencer. If you believe, you belong. Even if you don't want to take a proactive approach, you can still contribute by 1. Consistent DCA into SPX6900. 2. Respect the culture and philosophy of the community. 3. Share this book and other promotional SPX6900 materials with people you want to help. Proactive ways to contribute. 1. Share your story. Why do you believe in SPX6900? 2. Create posts, content, or videos on social media. 3. Help onboard new members. 4th, spread awareness of the SPX6900 philosophy and culture. 5. The more value you bring, the more you strengthen the network. 9. What's with the number 6,900? 6,900 is just a joke and a playful spin on the 500. The community jokes that the SPX6900 index has 6,400 more S&Ps than the S&P 500. This ultimately and mathematically means that 6,900 is greater than 500. So when we flip the stock market, it won't be shocking, since it's just math. 6,900 is greater than 500. 10. Isn't this risky? Every investment carries an element of risk. SPX6900 is no different. There's no 100% guarantee it will continue to perform well. But we can do our due diligence by studying it, weighing the pros and cons, evaluating the probability of success or failure, and considering the risk-reward ratio, what you stand to gain or lose either way. However, one thing I do know is that without calculated risk, there is no reward. You have to take a calculated risk on something in life and believe in something if you plan to drastically change your life. No one is going to save us. We have to save ourselves. 11. What does it mean to be an Aeon? An Aeon, to me, is a true believer in SPX6900, someone who embodies and safeguards its culture. Just like the Bitcoin community has the Bitcoin maxis, who staunchly promote and protect its ideology, SPX6900 has the Aeons. When I first purchased SPX, I was not an Aeon, just a holder. It took me about 5 months to build my own self-conviction and truly become an Aeon. Not every SPX holder is an Aeon, but every Aeon is an SPX holder. 12. How do I know this isn't a scam? From a token structure standpoint, there's nothing to worry about. The token contract cannot be modified, and no new tokens can be created. The developer abandoned the project early on, and since then, it has been entirely community-driven. From a technical perspective, there is no person, team, or developer who can scam you. The tokens are all in circulation and fully decentralized. The growing community and its culture are what give SPX6900 its value. It comes down to whether you resonate with the culture and see value in being a part of it or not. But there's no scam involved. If you buy SPX, you will receive the tokens at the current market value. 13. How much SPX6900 is enough? Don't place a limit on how much SPX6900 you can own. Instead of setting a cap, set a minimum goal you'd like to reach and continue to DCA, dollar cost average from there. A good starting point is a minimum target of 1,000 SPX tokens. Feel free to use the SPX token saving tracker, Appendix C page 134 of the ebook to help reach that milestone in a fun way. Capping your SPX holdings limits your long-term potential. If you just keep DCAing, you might surprise yourself with how much SPX you accumulate over time. Set a minimum target, reach it, then consistently DCA. 14. What is the point of failure of SPX 6900? In my opinion, the only point of failure would be if the community, on a large scale, loses conviction, stops believing, and gives up permanently. That seems unlikely given how strong the community is. What prevents this from happening is the preservation of SPX 6900's culture. The culture is designed to protect and grow the community, sustain the token's value, and support long-term growth. If we don't abandon the culture on a mass scale, the project won't self-degrade or erode. There's no incentive to abandon the culture. It's the very thing that ensures our community thrives, and that translates to long-term price appreciation. 15. Can I sell my tokens whenever I want? Yes, you can. Although the culture encourages buying, holding, and DCAing, because wealth is built from time in the market, not timing the market, and we strongly discourage chart watching and trading. However, you are free to sell your tokens at any time. Everyone has different goals and life situations. Just be aware, if you post about selling while we're on a mission to flip the stock market, it may be frowned upon. Also, there is a high risk that if you sell out completely, you would regret it, as we continue to appreciate in price. 16. Can I lose my SPX 6900? Yes, if you get hacked or have poor security. In crypto, if you lose your tokens, it's unlikely you'll get them back. That's why it's important to learn how to protect your assets. If you choose to leave them on an exchange, make sure to use every available security feature to prevent your account from being compromised. If you choose self-custody, which I believe is the best approach, learn how to properly set up your wallet and protect your private keys. If your keys are compromised, your tokens can be stolen, and there's no recourse. So it's critical to understand how to secure your exchange wallet or private keys. 17. Would the price crash when people eventually sell? Bitcoin didn't reach $1 trillion market cap in a straight line from being worth a few cents. There was a lot of volatility along the way, and Bitcoin was declared dead hundreds of times. Bitcoin didn't rise in a straight line because people sell, and at times selling pressure exceeds buying pressure, causing price dips. But eventually Bitcoin stopped returning to its previous lows. There was a point when it went up to never return back to 10 cents, $1, $10, $100, $1,000, or even $10,000. It kept reaching new highs and higher lows. Zoom out and you'll see that despite volatility, Bitcoin's long-term trajectory has been upward. I believe SPX 6900 will follow a similar pattern. There will be people who sell for whatever reason, even if it's against the culture. During bear markets, the price may take a hit, but it's the community culture that will protect the token from ever returning to zero and will help it reach new highs and higher lows. Even if whales dump their tokens, the community will absorb them through DCA. This actually benefits decentralization in the long run. No single individual can destroy the project by selling, as long as the culture remains. The culture is what allows SPX 6900 to thrive in bull markets and survive in bear markets. 18. What is the best strategy to invest in SPX 6900? The best strategy, in my opinion, is to use money you can afford to lose, after covering all your expenses. Most of us waste money monthly. Redirect that money into investing, or consider getting a second job solely for investing purposes. Invest in SPX 6900 using the dollar cost averaging DCA method. DCA means investing a fixed amount regularly, weekly, monthly, etc., regardless of the token's price. This strategy averages out your cost per token and reduces the risk of investing a large sum at the wrong time. DCA is ideal for long-term investing, and SPX 6900 is a multi-cycle long-term mission. 19. The volatility scares me. What should I do? This is exactly why we don't watch charts. We focus on conviction instead. First, stop chart watching, then study SPX 6900 and build your long-term conviction in the thesis and culture. Finally, DCA into the volatility. 20. Isn't the SPX 6900 mission delusional? Yes, it's outrageously delusional. How dare we even think our tiny token, SPX6900, can flip the behemoth stock market? But we do. There's nothing wrong with having a high-conviction, delusional belief when investing in a pure belief asset with a mountain-sized mission. Delusion is our asset. It's always a laughing matter for the skeptics, until it's not. 21. Am I too late now? People are going to hear about SPX 6900 and join the movement at different points along our journey to flipping the stock market. The same phenomenon happened with Bitcoin. Not everyone got in below $1, $10, $100, $1,000, or $10,000. But in the grand scheme of things, they weren't late, as Bitcoin surpassed all those values. With SPX 6900, it's very easy to gauge whether you're late or not. Have we flipped the stock market yet and reached a $69 trillion market cap? If not, then you're not late. DCA those tiny coins and start accumulating. 22. I just don't get SPX 6900. Why? Personally, I would buy some, just in case you get it later. I didn't understand Bitcoin when I discovered it in 2013, but I understood it in 2019. If I had bought some back then, I would have benefited immensely from that earlier purchase. The reason I didn't understand Bitcoin in 2013 was because I didn't study it until 2019. This is why, throughout this book, I emphasize the importance of studying SPX 6900. It's the only way to truly understand it and build your own conviction, rather than relying on borrowed conviction. This book is a guide to help you and shorten your learning curve. But the only way to truly study SPX 6900 and build your own conviction is by observing the community, their conviction, and how they implement the culture. Remember, SPX is just a token. What gives the token value is the community. So study the people within the community and their conviction to understand SPX 6900. Study SPX 6900. Acknowledgements. I want to express my gratitude to the individuals and community that helped shape not only this book, but also my conviction in what SPX 6900 truly represents. To Chiron and Ryden, thank you for your help in reviewing this book and for providing invaluable feedback. To Murad, your insights and clarity on meme token investing were a revelation. Your ability to cut through the noise and articulate the underlying value proposition of meme coins gave me the perspective I had been missing all these years. Your work helped me understand that sometimes the most powerful investments aren't built on products, but on people and conviction. To all the Aeons in the SPX 6900 community, thank you. Your relentless energy, creativity, and consistency in spreading the message across social platforms and even in real life has been nothing short of inspiring. Watching you work tirelessly for your bag isn't just about gains. It's about grassroots conviction and a movement fueled by belief. This book is just one small contribution to the larger wave you're all building every single day. With respect, Audacious. About the author. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an influencer. I'm just someone who's lived through 2 crypto cycles, made the mistakes, and learned the hard way how to navigate this market. I discovered Bitcoin in 2013, but out of ignorance, ignored it in favor of altcoins. I thought I was too late. Bitcoin was already in the triple digits, so I chased what I believed were undervalued alternatives. I spent years placing my conviction in long-term altcoin projects built around utility narratives that depended on teams or companies delivering on promises made in their white papers, with the hope of market adoption to follow. Although I did find some early success with certain picks, the vast majority failed. Most teams didn't deliver on their roadmaps, and even when they did, the projects rarely achieved meaningful adoption. I came to realize that the only real force holding up these token prices was speculation. Communities hoping one day the utility would matter. Over time, I witnessed firsthand the rise and fall of these utility tokens. I saw communities dissolve, charts collapse, and portfolios with them, as it became clear that the product would never arrive or gain traction. I even discovered SHIB early, but ignored it, dismissing it as a meme coin with no utility. Another mistake. What I failed to grasp throughout most of my journey was this. Utility wasn't the value. The community was. In 2024, I turned my attention to meme coins, not as a joke or trend, but as a serious, evolving force in crypto. Like many, I began by trenching, buying low-cap tokens hoping for quick wins. I only lost money for the most part doing this. Then I came across Murad's thesis on meme coins, and it resonated deeply. Years of experience in utility altcoins and low-cap meme coin speculation had prepared me for that clarity. The future belongs to high-conviction, growing communities. That clarity led me to SPX6900. SPX6900 hit differently. After hours spent researching, reflecting, and listening to the voices within the community, I saw something unique, something powerful, something that reminded me of the early days of Bitcoin. Only this time, I paid attention. This book is the result of countless hours immersed in the SPX6900 community. It's not financial advice. It's a philosophical blueprint where belief is the value and community is the utility. This book isn't about shilling a token. It's about something deeper, the power of people coming together under a shared conviction. And right now, SPX6900 is one of the most important expressions of that energy. I wrote this as a manifesto for those who are done trading, done waiting for teams to deliver utility, and finally ready to start believing.